Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
They may be advertising a product that's damaging for your health, but it can't be argued that this series of odd little vignettes from Hamlet resulted in one of the most iconic advertising campaigns seen on British television. From the mid-60s until the 1990s, the familiar sound of Bach's Air on a G-string could be heard hummed in households all across the country, complete with that simple tagline, "Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar." Whether you smoke them or not, I'd wager most Brits growing up in the latter half of the 20th century remember seeing at least one of these ads. But in the early 90s, buoyed on by the success of this long-running campaign, Hamlet decided that they'd give audiences the chance and opportunity to celebrate and re-watch their adverts again and again on home video.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Take a video recorder. You know, one with picture search, timer, programmable remote control, and a long play facility. Now, add a second deck, so you can record while you watch another tape, or tape two things at once. Finally, take a price of just £399. The result is the Amstrad Double Decker, the original 2-in-1 video recorder.
In brief, home video by the beginning of the 1990s was well and truly established within the UK. Many households owned a VCR and a selection of VHS tapes, often comprising of classic films, some children's favourites, and the odd episode of then current TV programmes. Such was its ubiquity and easy to produce content for, you could find VHS tapes for quite literally anything. So when Hamlet decided that they wanted to get in on the home video market, it hardly came as a surprise. The result was the aptly named Hamlet the Video, a 30-minute tape chronicling the history and featuring the best of the many ads that had appeared on the small screen over the last 30 years. Honestly, a tape released for purchase that mostly contained old adverts. Capitalism at its absolute finest here, folks. Thankfully, it's not just half an hour of solid back-to-back adverts, for we have specially filmed links featuring William Rushton, one of the nation's most famous satirists and a co-founder of the infamous Private Eye magazine. The tape bears his name right at the beginning, and the tone of these links is cemented quite literally within the first few seconds. It seems Rushton has come to the Hamlet Hall of Fame, hoping to explore this museum of cultural advertising.
Good morning.
Hello.
It's coming down cats and chickens out there.
And when asking for a catalogue, he gets presented instead with perhaps the most early 90s invention possible.
Oh, we can do better than that.
Hello. Oh, that's brilliant. Hello again. Hello to you. Oh, I love the white heat of technology. Wonderful, thank you very much. I'll bring it back in a nonce.
He'll bring it back in a what?
Wonderful, thank you very much. I'll bring it back in a nonce.
In a nonce. Oh boy.
Welcome to the Hamlet Hall of Fame, a collection celebrating almost 30 years of arguably the best-known commercials ever made. And here we are in the black and white room.
Ha! It's been years.
This may seem really simple and crude today, but cutting out the colour to go back to black and white has a certain charm to it, don't you think? Anyhow, let's have a little history lesson on Hamlet.
Have you ever wondered how this brilliant campaign was devised? Of course, it took enormous foresight and planning.
Have a break. Have a Hamlet.
No,
Don't forget the Hamlets, Mum.
no.
Hamlets clean a big, big carpet for less than half a crown. Happiness is a cigar. And a bloody large Scotch helps too, of course.
Nods to other brands, implications that the Hamlet marketing team were also raging alcoholics. Classic.
Happiness is a cigar called...
Would you believe it? They pick their times to rehearse, don't they? Bloody racket! We're trying to come up with a concept in here, you Philistine gits! How are we supposed to come up with an idea without going on? Hey, that's another thing. We'll have to come up with a jingle as well. I thought maybe Russ Conway to tickle the ivories and Craig Douglas to tickle the tonsils. Shut up!
Here on a G-string. Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
You're joking, aren't you?
And if you believe that, you'll believe anything.
What I like about this little scene is how loose it all feels. You can tell they aren't taking themselves too seriously here, and for the purposes of this tape, it works a treat. And sure, this isn't how the campaign got started, but what's a little imagination, eh? Now it's time for the first ever advert in the classic Hamlet style.
In front of you now, you will see, aptly enough, number 1, as first seen in 1964, The Man in Bed. Push button now.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
Impossibly simple, but it's all there, isn't it? The theme, the relaxed nature, it's what made the brand and the ad campaign famous. Not quite sure why we have to watch it as part of a picture frame, but you'll be pleased to know that the rest of them aren't like this. Let's continue with some interesting tidbits on that very first advert.
The Man in Bed, John Clive, is now incidentally a popular author. I shall be providing you with these gobbets of information as we progress.
Thank you very much indeed.
Not at all. Did anything strike you about that particular commercial?
Not really, no. Black and white?
No, go on, think.
No idea, no. I mean, you seem to crack it first time up.
Not so, no. There is a considerable difference.
Oh, can't help you there.
You failed to notice that the cigar was in the commercial from the beginning, throughout. In the earliest commercials, we simply showed the product, enhancing, shall we say, the quality of life of a victim of circumstance. The man in the hospital bed. A man stuck in a lift, you may remember. A man in handcuffs.
Ah!
Do try and pay attention. It was in 1966 that the structure of the commercials as we know it was established. This is the moment we got it right. The music teacher. Press button now. Yes, that is Patrick Cargill.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Or indeed this one, set as you will see in a laundrette, long before the denim jeans one popped in, so to speak.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
4 and 8pence halfpenny. No wonder he's smiling.
Once again, these ads from the 60s, primitive as they are, do establish the style that Hamlet would become known for in the decades to come. The following clips we see show the brand start to embrace a slightly more fantastical approach, shall we say.
You may remember these others from that period, 1966-68.
I heard it said that if you can remember the 60s, you weren't there.
You were there.
So I've heard.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Ah, dear old Ebenezer Scrooge.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
That comes from the last black and white commercial.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
This marks the end of the black and white era of Hamlet ads. And how does this tape showcase how big of a deal colour was? Well, like this.
In more ways than one, Hamlet made history.
Don't ask me about why the man dressed as a chicken and the dancing girls are there. At this point, I'm just as clueless as you are. Anyhow, let's see some colour ads.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar from Benson and Hedges. Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
More of that fantastical and historical element there. I love the playful nature of taking concepts like the fall of General Custer, Napoleon, and other recognisable historical moments, and somehow weaving them into adverts for Hamlet cigars. Regardless what you may think of the product, it shows the creativity of the time, and how adaptable this campaign was as a concept. How far can they push it? Well, that's all still to come.
Ah, dear old Julian Orchard.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Another little gobbit for you. A vast tower was built for the Birdman to take off from. Julian Orchard quite rightly refused to have anything to do with the stunt. A stuntman was hired who climbed the tower and fainted. And Julian had to do it anyway.
I love that Willie Rushton is delivering these gobbets to himself via the means of a tiny little LCD screen. You can even see the words colour LCD at the top of the device. I just love the honesty of it all. I'm sure even by the early 90s there would have been other ways you could have shown a guide version of Rushton talking to himself. But hey, this was the budget, clearly, so this is what they went with.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Lads, I'm telling you now, if you make eyes and motions like that to a woman, you deserve to be parred off. 100%.
Anything odd about the horse?
Looks a perfectly horse-shaped horse to me.
It's fat, isn't it? As race horses go.
Well, it's probably a very well-paid horse.
It's a circus horse. Hired because he was happy to stand there all day, take after take.
A fellow professional.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Now, this is a fascinating object. Had it in the family long, have you? Valuable, is it?
It's a burnt-out match.
Ooh, highly collectible.
I'm glad that we have these little moments with Willie Rushton to break up the ads, because as iconic as they are, the same music and same few shots in some cases would get a bit repetitive without a break. But 30 seconds is quite long enough. Back to the ads.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Damn good, that.
Those kids are now the back four for Aston Villa.
Are they really?
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, should have mentioned that. You all right?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, something's gone. I think an old bar billiards injury is playing me up. Ah!
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Provocative images of wartime to sell cigars. Not sure how I feel about that one. But I suppose it does lean back into the historical angle that Hamlet had dabbled in several times at this point.
Oh, that looks useful. The Erich von Stroheim Memorial Truss. No, that's John Bluthal.
Yes, about to do his party piece.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
I just wouldn't go to the tennis for a few weeks, pal.
I never could do that. All over the place. Where are we now, then?
The last half of the 70s.
Hamlet wasn't afraid to get seasonal either. Just look at this.
Actually filmed in Lapland.
The lengths they go to for authenticity.
With a snow machine.
And after Star Wars came out, who wasn't afraid to go a bit more sci-fi?
That was never shown on television. It followed Star Wars about in the cinema.
The Hamlet ads from the beginning had featured faces you may have recognised or went on to become well known, but here's a face I know you'll recognise for definite.
Hey! You're right. Ronnie Corbett is the Cox. Hey! In. Eight. In. That was filmed the year before Cambridge sank.
Now that's satire for you. And they said it was dead.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
Who's that then? Richard Burton? Orson Welles. Probably the finest commercial in the world.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Quite abstract, that one. You don't even see a human being throughout.
We sail on Columbus, we shall fall off the edge of the world.
Nonsense. The world is round.
Captain! The edge of the world!
Yes, that is the bloke from Blake 7.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
Poor Paul Darrow. This fun little twist on history is one of my favourites, purely for how bonkers it is.
There's a certain topicality to that one, too, given that it's about 500 years ago to the minute. Hello? I think I knew your mother. Ah, look. Have you got 20p?
If only those telescopes were still 20 pence, goodness me.
That's not the stuntman you're looking at.
No, it isn't.
He couldn't water ski. That's the lorry driver.
I'm not looking at him either.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Ah yes, leery men. They dominate 20th century advertising, sadly.
And here we are in the 80s room.
Hoorah!
Oh, Bob. Never could do the Rubik Cube.
To be fair, after a few minutes with a Rubik's Cube, I'd probably turn to some kind of vice as well.
Something else I can't do.
Oh, now that's just upsetting.
Amazing. Salisbury Cathedral in matches. Isn't it interesting how they never made Hamlet a hero of one of their advertisements?
No, it's not.
I can see it quite clearly in my mind's eye. A gloomy Dane on the battlements, soliloquizing in the original Danish. To be or not to be, it is the question whether it is nobler in the mind to surf the slings and arrows of outrageous spurt. You know, bother it, and then lighting up. No more gloomy day. I don't understand girls today, or chickens.
I don't want to know where that chicken's gone.
Did you get ideas sent in by members of the public?
This next one was the idea of a colonel in the guards. He was paid with, quote, a crate of rather indifferent wine, unquote, and spit in a bucket.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
Always like the more comedic adverts that Hamlet put out, leaving you knowing what'll happen even after the film runs out.
1984. I mean, given the date, surely you could have done a bit of George Orwell. I mean, Winston Smith and the rats and bong, bo, 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 bo. Instead you did this.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Ah, yes, because somehow surviving certain death when you've been crushed up in a car compactor, lighting up a Hamlet cigar would obviously be the first thing you'd do.
You all right then?
Yeah,
They could have let you out by now.
they don't care. Look at the next one. What they did to him.
Now for an advert with a certain horror homage.
Judy Garland mugged by munchkins on the yellow brick road. Boom, do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, surely not.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
I got off lightly.
Well, excuse me, but nature calls.
Oh, sorry, I'm on in a moment.
Break a wing!
It speaks! The chicken speaks! And break a wing?
Break a wing!
That feels a bit too corny even for this tape.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
And would you believe it, he truly was on in a minute, for the Chicken Man was the star of his very own Hamlet ad.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
The last hairs of Gregor Fisher, distinguished Glaswegian actor.
Now here's the cover shot of the entire tape, and arguably one of the most famous of the Hamlet stable.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
Well done, Gregor. All right, let's make movies. Cue the vampire. The Russians. Oh, brilliant. Oh, genius.
Honestly, most of these skits are sold to me by how much Willie Rushton is going for it. Any less commitment and these little interludes would fall flat on their face, I'm telling you. Time now for more horror-esque sequences. Poor old Dracula. He can't seem to win, no matter what medium he's in.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Props, I want the baggage trolley in now. And action. That's it. Not too gentle, and cue the crowd scene.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Aside from the implication that it'll be locked in that airport, see that sign up there? Well, apparently, translated from Icelandic, this is the word bloody. Bloody hell airways? You're telling me.
Well done, man, and thank you. Ah, come here, my tiny thespians. Wait for the cue.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet.
Still baffles me those kind of drive-through safaris are allowed, but nice to know this geezer is totally contented with the threats of certain imprisonment and or death at the hands of these animals.
Well done, men. In you go, in you go. Well done. Ah, come on. That's a rugby field. I asked for a soccer pitch. You've given me Cardiff Arms Park and the Cathedral of Welsh Rugby Union.
A Brit asking for a soccer pitch?
Well, I suppose I can cheat it.
What treachery.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Oh, well played, well played. Bad luck. Should go right by morning. And cue the motorcycle.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Right next, please. My beautiful blind date.
That woman from earlier has her own ad too. It all links together, you see.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Well done, my pretty one. Would you care for a spot of dinner? Roast chicken?
To be fair, I'd probs go with the chicken too. Sorry, Willie. The setting rounds off with Rushton becoming one of the characters in the campaign himself, lighting up a Hamlet in the face of rejection. His handheld counterpart reminding us once and for all that
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
The credits then roll, showing us a mix of ads that we've seen on the tape and glimpses of others that we haven't seen too. And that indeed rounds off Hamlet the video. Quite apt in a way that this came out in the early 90s, as the campaign's fortunes, indeed Hamlet's as a whole, were due to take a tumble. That image on the wall there, "The end is nigh," that could have been an unintentional prophetic statement about advertising smoking in general. As the 90s progressed, smoking ads on the telly would eventually be banned, and then this later extended to the cinema too. In 1999, this ad, dubbed Farewell, would be the last to be shown in cinemas, thus bringing the long-running Hamlet campaign to an end 35 years after it had first begun back in 1964.
La 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 la.
Hello. Ooh.
While still being sold in a much more low-key manner than before, the glory years of Hamlet, particularly its advertising, are long behind it. However, for those who remember even just one of these commercials, they have formed a solid space amongst UK culture in the mid to late 20th century. That tagline could be quoted by millions, and several of these clips we've seen today are still fondly remembered and talked about. The videotape itself almost represents the cultural powerhouse that the brand had become. To be able to release a VHS tape for purchase solely based around a long-running advertising campaign you've got going on, now that to me shows brand loyalty on part of consumers and sheer brand power regarding the concept. Whether you smoked or not, for several decades many people knew or associated happiness with a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Sean Knock, Dord Khan, Liam Domain, AJ Mac 200017, Deck, Jen, Traffy, Evanhart 42 Radio, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Marnanel Thurman, John Wakefield, 40-something Manchild, Jerry Ralph, John McLeod, James Wallace, Ben, Stephen Oliver, Tegan, Shadowfiend 180X, Swan Ronson, Adam Gamer, Fonzie Daz, Seraphic Euphoria, Real Random, John, Matthew Elliff, Pigeon's House, and Shah H, our AMTV staff members.